So today's speech title is Malcolm X, the Fire That Still Burns. The short and famous phrase, education is our passport for the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. Have y'all heard that quote before? It actually is a little bit longer, and I want to make sure you know what it is. Education is an important element of the struggle for human rights. It is the means to help our children and our people rediscover their identity and thereby increase their self-respect. Education is our passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs only to those who prepare for it today. For now, I have to pose a more contemplative question, which is that we should not try to find answers from the words of Malcolm X on what we need to do without taking the time to understand who Malcolm actually was as a man. He was a father, a spiritual leader, and a human being. A man with rheumatoid arthritis is wrongfully accused of assaulting and harassing a white woman, and thus his life threatened, whereas many familiar faces shown in this picture, grandparents of existing lineages in the Midwest American state, are posing in front of this brutally damaged body of Mr. Brown. The image, like many other lynchings during that year, posted on the front cover of the newspaper to incite fear or compliance on behalf of the reader in the article at that time. It did reach national attention and reached that of Marcus Garvey all the way in Harlem. Malcolm's mother, Louise Little, was a writer for Garvey's Negro World newspaper. And Malcolm's father, Earl Little, was a carpenter by trade and minister following the same pursuit of racial pride and seeking opportunities for sustainability in his growing family now on the Midwestern home front. So I want to frame this question to the audience, and you can just reflect on it as we learn together today. What moments in Malcolm's life would lend as examples to us today on what to do on behalf of our own communities? Some of the themes of Malcolm's transformations: he reinvented himself. Self-determination was his key motivation for radical self-education and reclaiming his identity, leading to spiritual transformation. So let's introduce Malcolm Little. So on the left side of this slide, you'll see at the top the earliest known photo that we have of Malcolm X. And then in the bottom, you'll see he's in the football squad. This is in Michigan. Can you see in the back row, the tallest person? Oh, four in from the right, that's Brother Malcolm. He experienced a period of extreme trauma, loss and systemic violence during his coming of age years from birth to age 6. And in 1931, his father was killed in Michigan. He was targeted before he left Omaha because of his activism in the UNIA Marcus Garvey chapter. And in 1939, him and all of his other siblings lost their mother to a mental institution because they said she was not mentally fit to raise her children. But again, this is 8 years later. She's raising 8 children by herself. So in this coming of age period, we learned that Malcolm and his siblings are trampled with the horrors of growing up as a Black child in America. Without a family foundation, him and his siblings were put in foster care when their mother was put in a mental institution. They all split up, and Malcolm journeyed to the East Coast. This did lead to incarceration, where he became self-educated, finding a passion for words and criticizing the evidence of the world he knew before bars. His street smarts became a champion for him into a fast life, and he learned the power of his tongue, and the outcomes of his actions proved almost fatal. This is a period in which he was struggling to find guidance in a male figure, with his father being gone, and he moved to Boston with his half-sister, Ella Collins, from his dad had previous marriage. They were in prison for robbery. Have y'all seen the Spike Lee joint, Malcolm X, before? So who did Spike Lee play in the film? Shorty, thank you. So I just wanted to put some context and some visuals in your head. And he had the courage to confront power during this period. So this is where we see all of the videos, the imagery of the iconic name Malcolm X. He was unapologetic, and he actively critiqued the systemic racism that he witnessed. I want to make sure I share some of the resources 2 books that explain everything that I just said, and you can fact check me on. This is called Malcolm X Make It Plain by William Strickland. It was originally released in 1994 and also was a documentary on PBS. And so now that PBS is gone, I'm not sure where it lives, but maybe we can get a hold of it, or if there's some researchers in the room, you can help me do that. And then the other book that's also out of print is this one called The Great Photographs, written by Tulani Davis, who also was the playwright for the Malcolm X opera. So I'll have some of these available at the end if you want to browse through them. So I just want to pause and reflect on a question here. Where have we softened truths to remain comfortable? He was also conflicted with being silenced about the civil rights issues back in the States. So one of the things that he was exiled for in the Nation of Islam was speaking out about civil rights issues. And so a lot of times they wanted him to be quiet and only talk about the spiritual context of being a Muslim, but there was too much going on. He couldn't ignore it. So he understood there was a global lens, and he wanted to connect the Black struggle